Hello and welcome to my next video of the series Lessons of War, in which I explain what I have learned during over 3 years since Russia invaded Ukraine with a full-scale war. My today's video is dedicated to the topic of nervous system regulation, when rather nervous system regulation is the topic that everybody is talking about, or maybe a lot of people are talking about. I would say that it's just about feeling safe and being safe in your own body and in your own being. And surprisingly, even for me, it is possible in almost any conditions that you might be in. And I figure it out on my own experience living in the city, which is time after time attacked by Russians, and being able to regulate myself, to being able to find this peace inside of me, even in these conditions. Most of the time, I'm not going to say that I'm perfect at it, but still, at least I'm able to live. At least I'm able to fulfill the things that I'm trying to fulfill. So I must say that for me, the topic of nervous system regulation is really, really hard, because my nervous system is very sensitive and my psychic is very raw, and I've always been a very sensitive person, and I have my history with anxiety disorders. So I'm not, this kind of person who is very grounded naturally, and who is very calm naturally, and whose body is very stable naturally. Naturally, I am very, very vulnerable and very, very fragile. So I needed to learn how to deal with it. And you know what? Frankly speaking, any techniques work for this. Like whatever like EFL tapping or mindfulness or meditation or almost any kind of yoga or massages or singing or dancing, almost any of these things will work if performed regularly. But at the same time, there is one twist in perception which may be stopping you from actually being able to feel safe in your own body. And for me, this shift in perception happened, I remember this day very vividly how it happened to me. It was on it was 2023. It was on the second year of full-scale war. And I was starting to become a Kundalini yoga teacher. I decided from the first days of the war, I decided that I will be helping people to deal with the consequences of war. So at some point, I came to the fact that I want to be a Kundalini yoga teacher. So I was starting to be one. And the organizers of our training at some point invited the specialists in Kundalini yoga therapy. Kundalini yoga therapy and generally yoga therapy is different from just yoga because it has slightly different objective. Kundalini yoga therapy is totally oriented on making people safe in their own body, on basically regulating the nervous system. So the specialists of Guru Ram Dass Center came to us to teach us the principles of Kundalini yoga therapy, which was very kind of them. And also they conducted to us a class, as if they are teaching us a class of Kundalini yoga therapy. And I remember very vividly the feeling from this class and how I realized that I was doing everything wrong. Because I was trying to, regulate myself from the place of I can't be not regulated. Because I have put this bar for myself that I have to help other people, and if I have to help other people, I have to help myself. So I need to be stronger, better, more stable, more blah blah blah, better in every possible way. And it kind of doesn't work. Actually, who could have thought? The class was conducted from the point of acceptance and compassion. And the directions were given to, while we are doing the movements, to pay attention to the body, to the signals of the body, how the muscles feel, how the body touches the ground, how the breathing connects with the movement, and so on and so on. So it was so much of attention for the body and so much compassion and acceptance to it that I was like, oh, so this is how it actually works. The thing is that you cannot hate yourself into a change. You cannot hate yourself into a change, especially in this sphere of nervous system regulation, in the sphere of finding connection with the body, in the sphere of improving your breathing patterns and all these things. You cannot hate yourself into changing. You can only love yourself into changing. And this experience of yoga therapy class showed me that I actually wasn't doing it to myself. I actually was trying to change myself from the perspective of there is something wrong with me, but it doesn't work this way. So the actual changes to my body and to my nervous system and to my ability to live more freely, more peacefully, even in the city which is time after time attacked by Russians, was through finding compassion to myself and finding an ability to create this space of acceptance of my own sensitivity, of my own conditions, of my own particularities, of my body as it is. Because we always have, this. We always feel like there is something wrong with our body, don't we? So this was the first thing that I realized. But the second thing that I realized a little bit later was that this regulation does not have to happen from the inside of me. So we often believe that we have to be able to take care of ourselves in every possible way. And it's kind of truth, but not always and not necessarily. Sometimes taking care of yourself means admitting that you don't have to do it on your own. We are all like humanity. We are all here for each other. And there are people in the world who are able to help find this place of compassion and to help us regulate. And even though I am the person who is helping other people regulate, because basically what I'm doing with my clients as a Kundalini yoga teacher, either individually or in classes, I help them regulate. I just regulate myself, and through different movements and through creating certain atmosphere, I help them relax and reboot their nervous system so that they could work this new cycle, like start again. The thing is that none of us has to do it on our own. So despite the fact that I am this person who helps other people, I still have my teachers and my healers and my massagers who help me to deal with my stress and who help me to regulate my nervous system. And this was also a very important lesson, because it's like we lit each other like candles. One candle is burning and this candle can help another candle burn. So it's the same thing with nervous system. Like someone is already very good at regulating their nervous system. They've been practicing, they've been studying, they've been doing it to other people like me or like other people who are able to do it. And when you come to a person like that, it becomes much easier to tap into this space, to tap into this state of regulation. And when you are in this state, you can start doing something differently. You can start reviewing your patterns. You can start living differently. And eventually you will lose this state of regulation. You can come to this person again, and this person will help you regain it. And then you will go back to your life and you will lose this state again, and you will come back. And with the current of time, this state stays for longer. And then it stays for longer again. And then you kind of start being able to create it yourself. This state of calm and internal silence, this state of acceptance, and this state of self-love. So the first lesson is that you cannot hate yourself into a change. You cannot come to regulation. You cannot come to inner peace through thinking that there is something wrong with you. It doesn't work this way. And the second lesson is that you don't have to do it on your own. There are people who are able and who are ready to help you. And it's going to be millions of times easier and millions of times more fulfilling and millions of times more natural, actually, because as I have already said, we are here for each other. So this is like the main difference. This is the main thing that helped me and that changed me and my perception of my own body and my own nervous system. That I could be doing all of these things, all of these practices, EFL tapping and breathing and all of that for years, and I wouldn't achieve the result that I achieved by just trusting someone in creating the space of, the safe space of regulation and self-love and self-compassion. And this is what I recommend to you if you have been struggling with the inability to regulate yourself and to find this inner calm and peace. I also want to add that however hopeless the situation seems to be with your nervous system, even if it has been like that for years, even if you have been anxious and neurotic for years, your body will still respond to almost any kind of treatment. If you allow these two principles, if you allow yourself to accept yourself, even if you are completely irregulated, even if you are nervous and hysteric and whatever you are, whatever you think you are, if you are able to accept yourself where you are, that's when the change starts. But also, if you are able to trust someone to help you. There is something, maybe there is some scientific reason for that, but there is something very fulfilling and very liberating in cooperation with another person, especially from the point of view of vulnerability. I am not the kind of a person for whom it's very easy to be vulnerable. And for me, it was very hard to, comprehend this principle of that the best results are always achieved through cooperation, especially from the point of view of trust and vulnerability. But there is something about it. There is something about it. And it really, really helps. So this is not just a video about the techniques. And it's really not a video about the techniques which help regulate nervous system and ground and so on. But it's rather about the principle. And the principle is love yourself and trust others. Even in the situation when the conditions are not beneficial for that. Especially in the situation when the conditions are not beneficial for that. Because when there is more pressure on people, when the situation is more difficult, people are more likely to help each other. It's a phenomenon which is happening everywhere. Whenever there is any natural disaster, when the war began here in Ukraine, people were so ready to help each other. People were so ready to sacrifice their own security for the sake of helping someone else. So yes, we are here for each other, and there is always someone who is ready to help you if you are open to receive the help. What I want to say at the end is that I had situations when, like, my grandma, who has had issues with sleep and calmness for all her life, would feel changes because of these techniques, of certain techniques that she used. Like, there was a situation which I still don't believe that has happened to me. There was a period of time when I had group lessons in online, and I have a friend on the front lines who would come to my classes while being on the front lines. They have internet there, so he would come to my classes being basically in the blindage. And once he came to my class with a friend of his, and this friend was an infantry warrior who just came back from the battlefield, basically. And he came to my class, I conducted the class, and the next day in the morning my friend says that this man, an infantry warrior, he said that for the first time in like months, he was able to sleep without seeing foxholes in his dreams. And I I cannot even start to explain how I felt at that moment, and I still feel tears in my eyes whenever I remember about it, because it shows to me not just this person was able to relax and recuperate, but also the fact that our body, like whatever the situation is, his situation is like millions of times worse than mine. When I randomly sometimes hear explosions here and there, he was on the battlefield. And still his body and his nervous system was ready to respond. Still his being was ready to relax and recuperate whenever it had a chance. And it shows me that our bodies are amazing, that they are able to do amazing things, to recuperate, to rejuvenate, to relax in the situations which are, you would never guess that a body can be responsive in the situation like that, but it is. And it again reminds me that we are capable of much more than we think we are. And it gives me a lot of hope that people will be able to maintain health and stability in whatever is upcoming. So how I mentioned in the first video, this is more or less a series in which I am going to one by one uncover different pillars of the internal core, which I think a person needs to be able to go through the changes that we are collectively going through. Not only just Ukrainians, but also people from all around the world. And this is the second pillar, and I believe that it's a very important one. It's ability to connect with your body and ability to feel safe in your body. So the first one was the clarity of the mind. The second one is the stability in the body. And we will go to the further pillars in the next videos. For now, thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.